guys, so today I'm here to talk about the books I read in the month of December. I honestly can't believe this is my last wrap up for the year of 2020 because this has seriously felt like the longest year in history, but also it went so quickly. Like, I don't even understand because so much bad shit happened this year that it's just kind of unbelievable that we actually made it through the year, and we're in 2021 now. Like, it's just unbelievable. But I am here to tell you about the 5 books that I read in December, and I didn't actually listen to an audiobook at all, so I kind of paid for a month and didn't listen to anything, but it has happened to me in the past. Yeah, my audiobook thing costs like $15 a month, but like it's a good payment overall because hopefully I'll get back into it. I haven't actually been listening to audiobooks lately though because I've been obsessed with the Julie and the Phantom soundtrack. So like it's not helping me because I should be reading, but like the music's so good. I honestly have just been listening to it every time I'm in the car and literally nothing else, and literally all the music I listen to has been Julie and the Phantoms. Or I listen to music and I imagine what the boys' reactions would be to this music, so I have no chill at the moment. Like, I'm so glad I didn't get into the show earlier, but also it's just hit me all at once and I'm obsessed. But we should actually get into the books that I read because this is the point of the video. So the first thing I read was Split Second by Casey West, and I had to read the sequel. Like, I had to know where this duology was going, and I was so invested. I really enjoyed Pivot Point. It was such a good book. I had so much fun with it. And coming into the second one, I probably would say I didn't enjoy this one as much, but mainly for the fact that we had 2 POVs in this book because we had Addie and Lila, because in the first book the 2 POVs were the different versions of Addie for her different futures, but in this one we can't do that anymore. So we've got Addie going off into the real world for a bit, but we've also got Lila at the compound, so we can kind of see what's happening in both sides of the world there. And there's romance and there's love and like everything is kind of happening in this book, and it got really interesting and a lot of things were kind of thrown in there and it was just like, whoa, what is happening? But I really enjoyed this, and it was just a solid duology, and I highly recommend it if you haven't picked them up, or just any of Casey West's books, because she's a great author. Then I read This Winter by Alice Oseman, and I'm so excited to have another novella that features my babies Charlie and Nick, but also Tori, which was a good experience because I haven't read anything from her point of view, and I do need to read Solitaire and all of those books, but I've read the novellas first because they were really good for readathons. But now I have to actually read like legit novels, and it will happen probably some point this year. I'll probably start trying to pick them up and read them in order, but I really enjoyed this. It's very Christmassy, it was very fun, and it was the perfect month to read this. Then I read Well Played by Deluca, so this was one of my anticipated reads. I bought this one recently and I'm really glad I managed to get to it straight away, and I will say that I enjoyed Well Met more than this book, but this book was still really good. It's just like books with catfish and lying and stuff like that just irk me. Like, I don't know why I'm so invested in lying. I've never had a relationship built on lies, so I don't even know why it's such a like triggering thing to me to be like, oh my god, this sucks so bad. But I still really enjoyed the relationship. That aside, Stacey and the dude, who I will not mention who it is because of spoilers, have a really cute relationship and I really liked it, and also just seeing the Ren Fair, so much fun. There's also a third book coming out in 2021 which is about Mitch and April called Well Matched, and it's fake dating, and I'm so excited because it's one of my favorite romance tropes and I'm just so keen. The next book I read was A Very Large Expensive Sea by Tahirah Mafia. Honestly though, I've had this book for the longest time. Like, I'm pretty sure it came out in 2018 and I bought it because there was so much hype, but I also got it on Barnes & Nobles because this is a signed edition, and I was very excited to read something from her that wasn't the Shatter Me series. But I'm so glad I did finally pick this up because it was a really good book. This book is set a year after the 9/11 attacks, and our main character Shirin is a Muslim, and she is kind of living in the world where everyone is scared of her and they judge her for wearing a hijab, and there's so many just like hate crimes against her people, and she's just trying to go to school and trying to live her life and just get through school so that she can get out of this time of just people always treating her like shit. Her brother decides to like form a breakdancing group and she joins in happily, and she's very excited to have that. And then there's this boy in her class, Ocean, who doesn't seem to be affected by her at all, and he just wants to get to know her and she kind of doesn't really know what to do, and it's just very good. And it's not as flowery as Shatter Me because there is so much floweriness with Juliet. Shirin is a lot more chill, I would say, but also she is way more like bitchy and edgy, and I really like that about her. It was really fun to see a book in the 2002 era though, of like seeing things that were like really popular of the time. And also I really liked Ocean. He was such a little sweet bibby, and honestly his commitment to getting to know her was so sweet because it's not like he didn't take no for an answer, but he just didn't want to give up on trying to be her friend. Holy shit, did you just hear that thunder? What the actual hell? I am terrified. My god. But this book, damn, this book was great. I hope. What was my point? Where was I at, man? I'm like all jittery now. I really hope that came through on the camera because damn. I had a really fun time with this book even though it is pretty sad, some of the things that did happen to her. But I highly recommend this if you haven't picked it up yet. And the last book I read of the year was Unravel the Dust by Elizabeth Lim, and I think it's actually really fun because my last book of 2019 was Spin the Dawn. So I think it's very fitting that this was also my last book of the next year. And I will say I didn't enjoy the sequel as much as the first book because the first one just had like way more, I guess, innocence and like fun, and just like I loved Eden in it because he was such a sweet little bean. And then we get into this book and it's so kind of like everything sucks and Maya's changing and it's just so devastating, and Eden's not even in it until like halfway, which is devastating in itself. But I still really enjoyed this. It's really good to see kind of what's been happening in the world and to also move around a lot more, and just to see how general people reacting to the changes that are happening in the world. And I was on edge a lot of this book, but I actually was kind of slumpy by the end of the month because it took me about 2 weeks to read this book. I just could not pick it up any sooner, and I managed to read this on the last day of the year. But I did really enjoy it, and I do think it's a solid duology, but I just still loved the more carefree atmosphere of the first book. But that is my wrap up for the end of the year, and I did enjoy pretty much everything that I read. And I do feel like I probably could have read more in the month, but my obsession with Julie and the Phantoms really hit badly, and like what can you do when you need to watch it a second, a third, and currently I'm watching it a 4th time, so like I have no chill. Like honestly, the show has taken over my life and I just want season 2. And to go on to my tally, I read 5 and I built 1, and I'm very excited about this one book I read that I'm honestly going to read it the second it turns up. But I think I've been doing really well. I have hardly been buying anything, and I know I've got anticipated reads of things that I want to buy, but I actually am okay right now. Like I don't really need to buy them. Like there's obviously books that I am very excited about, but I feel like the fact that I'm getting to some books that I've had on my shelves for a while has just been so good, and I'm very proud of myself. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!